Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing a whip and chat. I'm going to be working on this cupcake here. It's, I guess, a peppermint cupcake. I don't know what flavor this is. Is it like chocolate? Is it like a chocolate peppermint? Caramel peppermint? I guess we'll see when the drills are actually on it. 4 is an orange, so maybe it's a caramel peppermint. I don't know. That sounds really disgusting for whatever reason. So this is from Everydayedeals. I did get this as a PR package. And there's 12 colors, 8 are crystal rhinestones, and 4 specials. And I am working on this today, which is 10/29. So I'm going to just say started 10/29/2022 here. All right. Take off stickers or cover. I don't know if I'm going to do the whole thing. It'll depend on how long this video ends up being, but we will see. I always think, this is going to take me like an hour to do, and then I'm wrong. Because, you know, I always overestimate or underestimate how long it'll take to do something. So I'm going to start my timer here. I'm going to start down here. I have some cover paper. This cover paper is just paper that I got from double-sided adhesive diamond paintings. And I'm going to start out at the bottom. And that's number 8. I do just have the stuff kitted up in one of these here. And then that's pretty much how I have most of my special drills. And I'm just going to use a pen that is a 2-placer and a 3-placer. I use that mainly for my special drill diamond paintings, mainly because lots of times I can't do that much multi-placing because the drills are a little bit, like the legend is a little bit farther. Usually they are not legend. How it's charted, it tends to be a little bit farther apart than you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say. They tend to be a little bit farther apart than regular diamond paintings. So if you do too much of a multi-placing, then you can see the gapping really well. And plus, you know, lots of times it does curves and stuff like that. So I think I might actually have to change the tape in this one because, you know, how much I prepared for this video, which was like 0. When I went to start recording the video, I noticed that my tablet had 0 charge, so I had to charge it, and I was like, okay, I'll just charge it while so I just kind of turned it around, hoping that it'll still be sticky if I turned it around. I was like, I hope it'll be enough charge by the time I'm finished, like, putting them on the trays. And it said it was like 23%, so hopefully it's still hooked, my tablet is still hooked up to the charger, so hopefully that means it'll keep recording. So you may not know that it's been a while since I've recorded anything. It's, what did I say it was today? It's the 29th of October. The last 2 weekends, I have been away from home. And if you've been following my channel a while, you may know that I primarily record during the weekend because I work full time. And my weekdays, sometimes I just don't have time to record. So I've been away the last 2 weekends. And the last time I recorded, where I recorded a lot, I think, when I looked it up, was October 10. So it's been a while. I did record my Halloween, when I'm giving away in Halloween video. I did record that on Monday, but and I recorded an unboxing of this diamond painting also on that Monday. So I have recorded some, but those were short videos. And if you've been following my channel, you may realize I do a lot of longer videos. So yeah, I might be a little rusty. I was planning to actually have this WIP and chat up for last Friday. It didn't happen. Like, I was going to do it after one of my days after work, and it just didn't happen. It was, yeah. Sometimes you're like, I'm going to do it, and I'm like, nope, it never happened. And so I ended up putting a kitting down, which I actually had recorded the, like, I don't know, probably like 4 or 5 weeks ago. My kitting downs, I don't know if you realize, are usually way ahead, except for like the first one that I record, because I tend to binge record my kitting downs. So like I will probably like in one weekend record like 4 or 5 kitting downs. So I have pretty much a month's worth of kitting downs recorded sometimes, and sometimes more. But yeah, now I only have one, at least as of me recording this, I only have one kitting down left, and that's the one that was on Monday. So, yep, have to do another kitting down. I do have a couple that I did finish recently, so I have stuff to kit down, and if I really don't have anything to kit down, I have my plethora, I'm telling you, plethora of special drills that I do a lot of. So I don't need number 8 anymore. So let's do, so 7. All right, so I have said that I've been away the last 2 weekends. So weekend number 1, I went to my sister's house, and weekend number 2, I actually went to Victoria in Canada to visit my friend. So yeah, it was kind of a last minute trip, as in, you know, I only kind of planned to go there about 2.5 weeks before I went, so that's why I didn't talk about it in the last WIP and chat, because that, yeah, it's been a while since I even recorded a video. So yeah, let's talk about weekend number 1. I went to visit my sister and my mom and my niece. And my niece is actually eating regular food now. Like, I don't know, well, regular food as in, you know, not just milk. Actually nice and pureed food, if you call that regular food. When I was there, she was eating peas. Well, I think that's what my sister had. So my sister has one of those like baby blender things that comes with these really, really cute containers that have little happy face. And she, at the time, she had recently done peas and peaches. So she had a couple peas and peaches. 7 is still more of 7 here. I did notice that my niece liked the peaches more than the peas, but I mean, really, who wants... Have you just tried out just boiled peas with nothing on it? Not the most appetizing thing. But it was entertaining. She could like crawl, like, it's not really crawl, but it's more scooting forward. So you can't leave her alone anymore because she will escape. But she's at 7 months now, so growing. Well, she's still really, I don't know, she's still only about like 12 pounds, I think. Did she say? Yeah. She's still really small, but much bigger than the original 5 pounds something she was born, so. When I first saw her when she was like 5 pounds, I was like terrified that I was gonna hurt this little tiny thing. So yeah, not as terrifying anymore because 12-pound baby seems a little bit less fragile, at least in my mind. And she has more expressions. She laughs funny. I think she could see people now. Like I think before, my sister said that babies are relatively blind when they are born. So I think now she can see way better. So she gets distracted. She like looks at you and things like that. So feels like she's interacting with the general public. So yeah, just went and visited, played. So many toys now. My sister is like in Seattle and she does like those Facebook buy nothing groups. So a lot of her stuff, like toys and stuff, have been free from those buy nothing groups. And I think pretty much all her clothes have been from those kind of groups too. So, which is good because you know what? How long do babies actually wear these things? And you could always wash things. I was like, I know one fell. There it is. But yeah, she has so much stuff now. It's like so much stuff for the little baby. If you just bring the baby somewhere else, you're probably bringing more stuff than the baby size. Let's see. So yeah, I said weekend one, I was away, went to my sister's house. Well, and then last weekend, I went to Victoria in Canada. So it was pretty much my first trip in a while. So it was one of those, like I said, I didn't really know I was doing it until about a week and a half before. So it was a really quick planning and all that stuff. One good thing is Canada no longer requires their visitors to have all the tests and stuff before visiting and showing all the necessary documentation for vaccinations and things like that. So it was a little easier to make it across. I did end up taking the ferry, the Coho ferry from Port Angeles. Okay, this one has a lot. It's called the Coho ferry. It's a ferry that goes from Port Angeles in Washington State, and then it crosses into Victoria. It actually only takes an hour and a half. The ferry ride itself is only an hour and a half. So it just shows how close Victoria is to Washington State. Because, I mean, the ferry that I take from Bremerton to Seattle is like an hour long. So, and the ferry to go from Port Angeles to Victoria is an hour and a half. I don't know. I think it does go faster probably than the Bremerton ferry. But still, very close by. Port Angeles is about an hour and a half from where I live. So overall, the trip just took about 3 hours. It took a little longer though because I drove my car onto the ferry, and they require you to be at the ferry. If you drive your car, they require you to be there like an hour and a half earlier. So it was weird. It was like one of those, when I was looking at the website, it says on the Port Angeles side, you needed to be there an hour earlier. In my email, because I had reserved it said to be there an hour earlier, and then an hour and a half in the Victoria side. But then if you go on to the website, it tells you you pretty much need to be there an hour and a half early for both sides. And I'm like, I didn't know which one was right, so I just erred on the side of go there earlier. So I took the very first ferry from Port Angeles to Victoria, which was I think it was 8:20 a.m. So I had to be there at like 6:50, I think. Uh, so an hour and a half away. Yeah, I end up leaving here about at about 5 something. So really early leaving. And then I thought, okay, they made you go there early, right? They're going to go inspect my car, right? Nope, nothing. Like I was like, okay, I just sat in the car for like over an hour because they wanted me to be there psychotically early. But yeah, I really thought that the reason we were going to go there early was that some agent person was going to go and like ask what was in the vehicle, ask to open up the trunk, something, anything like that. Nope. They like on the way to the boat, all I had to do was fill in a piece of paper that had my name and like I don't know, birthday or something. And then when I got to Canada, they were just like, so how long are you gonna be here for? And I'm like, I'm gonna stay until Sunday and then I'll be back. I said I'm going back on Sunday, and then and they asked like, why are you here? And I'm like, visiting a friend, and that was it. There was like nothing. I was like, no, I really, for whatever reason, I thought because we were going on a boat that they would be stricter because I could easily smuggle something on the boat and I don't know, explode the boat. I don't know. I'm thinking like airport security is pretty tight, right? Nope. Barely going on the ferry. Doesn't seem as I felt like I've had more questions when I went across the border, going from, is it Bellingham? What's the last city in Washington before you get to Canada when you're taking 5? I think is it 5? It's Bellingham, or I don't know. It's probably something even past Bellingham, but I felt like when I passed by that border, they asked way more questions. But I guess, why am I complaining? And then on the way back, I thought, oh, they're gonna do more because I actually had to do a little bit more on the way back. They actually looked at oh yeah, this is another thing. On the way back, I actually had, in Canada, I had to go in line for them to like scan my passport and all that stuff, and I just felt like I was like, I don't remember them really doing that on my way there, so I don't know. Canada, are you too lenient? You're just letting anyone go in. But they're like, did you bring anything? I was like, nope, nothing really. I didn't really buy anything. I should have bought stuff. I should have bought like chocolate, like Canadian chocolate or something. But I didn't. Because it was such a like short trip and I was there for such a short period of time. So what did I do? Let's see. So me going to Victoria in October, probably not the best choice because it rained. And see, the thing is, it hadn't rained, at least in Washington, for like ages, like maybe months. And the weekend I go, it rained, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's what I get for, going in October. That's fine. But my friend was telling me that it might have been a good thing because the previous weekend it was smoke, and that we got the same smoke in where I'm at, because there's wildfires still, and it's already October. It's like, it's one of those, I'm like, it's already October, and yet there's still wildfires, and that's because, I don't know, it didn't rain for ages. So the one good thing about the rain was it washed away the smoke, which apparently was just as bad or even worse in Victoria. So that's one good thing. So I came in and it was probably much fresher air than it had been for the past couple weeks. Because, yeah, no, the air quality was pretty bad prior to the rain that happened this past week. The air quality was pretty bad. It was bad in Washington, at least in the, I guess, the Seattle area. Because I'm considered probably Seattle area. Seattle's not far. Air quality was bad. It was, it was to the point, like, in the afternoon, it was actually especially bad in the afternoon. I'd be like smelling, and then I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, the smoke. It's still here, and it got pretty thick. And I'm like, it's already October. This is usually something that happens more like in August and September, like end of August, beginning of September. But it had been dry for a long time. And the wildfires, I guess, just kept going because nothing is stopping them. So this is how I work on these special ones. I always have like this. I always try to cover up what I'm not doing so that it doesn't get dirty. And I'm just using this cover paper from double-sided adhesive diamond paintings that I have done. And I have done quite a few double-sided adhesive ones, and then I just keep them until they wear out. They do wear out at some point where the non-stick layer does start peeling out, and then you're left with just like the paper layer underneath. But it takes a while. It takes a while, because when was the last time I did a double-sided adhesive? I don't even remember. But yeah, went to Victoria. Let's see. Gonna fix that. Went to Victoria. So Friday, because I went to Victoria last Friday. See, the thing is, I said I'm recording this on the 29th of October. So on the 21st of October, that's when I went off to Victoria. And so the first day, it was pretty rainy. So pretty much just used that as a catching up with my friend. We had lunch. She was like, Joan, you have to try the beef in Canada, because apparently Canada has like grass-fed cows as opposed to the US. That, I don't know, what do we feed cows in the US? Corn? Probably. I could see us feeding corn. Hey, I don't know. I know nothing about obviously I know nothing about the beef industry in the US. It just shows. So she was like, you have to try the beef in Canada. And she was like, you have to try a burger. So, and of course, I'm just like, okay. So we ended up going to A&W. Yes, I know, it's a chain. Fast food chain. But she really likes her burgers. And I'm like, I don't actually eat that many burgers. So I was like, I'm going to treat myself. I'm on vacation. I'm going to eat stuff I don't normally eat. So I went to A&W, got a burger, you could get poutine at the A&W. I was like, okay. Because I'm all for having French fries with gravy. That's pretty much what poutine is. It's delicious. It's kind of like, it kind of reminds, I guess the closest I could think of equivalent to poutine in the US would either be mashed potatoes or I would say like biscuits and gravy. I don't know. But it's a nice comfort food. So I was like, when in Canada, get the poutine. That's my mentality. So yeah, like I said, so since Friday was pretty rainy, and I was like, you know what? I got up at like earlier than 4. I might not be up for much later on in the day too. So yeah, spent that time pretty much like talking. We ended up going to, I forgot where it was, but it was somewhere near the water. But it was actually like a cemetery near the water. And apparently this was just a nice place that she liked to just walk around. So yeah, got to walk around. It was a little drizzly and a little windy. And so yeah, we just walked around and talked. So the friend that went to visit is actually my friend that introduced me to diamond painting. So this whole channel, all her fault. Well, not the channel itself, but my addiction to diamond painting is all her fault. And I got into diamond painting way more than she did. It was one of those things that during the pandemic, we had like a video call or something, and she was like, Joan, this is what I've been doing. See this diamond painting I did? And I'm like, diamond painting, what is that? And this was like in April 2020. And yeah, ever since then I was like, I'm gonna go get a diamond painting, and I have not stopped diamond painting. She kind of has stopped diamond painting, but I have not. So yeah, it's all her fault. But yeah, she's in Victoria now to do school. And since Victoria is actually pretty easy to visit for me, because like I told you, Port Angeles is just an 1.5 hour drive for me, and then the ferry ride itself is only an 1.5 hour. So not too bad travel-wise, and I got to take my car. And not too expensive either. It is more expensive to drive the car on, so if I was telling her, I was like, I think next time, to save money, I think I should just park in Port Angeles, and you like pick me up or something. But I don't know. Because there was all these times when we were trying to logistically figure out the car, who's gonna drive and all that stuff. It might just be easier if I didn't have my car. But I brought my car because I was like, you know what? I don't know if she'll be able to entertain me the whole time. So I'll bring my car so I can entertain myself if need be. But since it was the weekend and it's between her semester, I don't know, between classes for her right now, she was able to hang out pretty much the whole time with me. So yeah. And then also on Friday for dinner, I had dinner with her and her husband, and they've been telling me they actually really love Canada. So, or at least Victoria. And they're like, Joan, you should move here too. I'm like, yeah, that requires me uprooting my life. But yeah. So yeah, the Friday hangout, pretty much just ate, walked around in very drizzly weather. So then Saturday was pretty much when we did a bulk of our stuff. So Saturday we went to the Bouchard Gardens. Was the weather, the powers to be on the weather must have felt sorry for me or something, and it was beautiful. Like, we went Saturday morning and the weather was beautiful. It was sunny. I was like, oh my gosh, it was such a opposite from the day before. So something somewhere wanted to give me a break and have. So yeah, Bouchard Gardens was beautiful. It had a lot of fall colors and things like that. You know what? I should go get my. This is the problem when you diamond paint right on top of your diamond painting, is you can possibly drop drills directly onto diamond painting. I should go get my phone. I'm gonna pause and get it so I can show you pictures. All right, so perhaps, not the best way, and now you can see the reflection of me. Here's Victoria on my way on the ferry. See, it was like a dreary day, as you can see, dreary day, but that was the ferry, from the ferry. And they do have a lot of like hotels and things on the ferry. I mean, on the waterfront. It's really bad. But yeah, here is some flowers from the Bouchard Gardens, because me and my flowers. So I took a lot of flower pictures apparently, because that's how I roll. Flower pictures. Why does it want me to fix lighting? Flower pictures. There you go. Flower pictures. Oh, and this one turned out really nice. This picture here. How do I get it there? This picture here. Look at that. So that's how beautiful the next day was. I had that dreary day, and then I go to Bouchard Gardens and I'm like, look at how beautiful this is. So too bad that's way too detailed to make a diamond painting of, but yeah, look at that. Look at all the colors on that one. So, and then here's just the same picture, just turned out. And let's see. Yeah, had some like look at that blue sky there. Look at that. That's why I said something must have liked me or something somewhere and made the weather awesome for day 2, because one good thing about the rain though is it does clean up it like takes away all the dust and stuff like that from. So here's some more pictures of flowers, because I like my flowers. But the one good thing about the after the rain event is apparently I took a video too here. And then I was like, ooh, I think this one I might try to make a diamond painting from, because I don't know. Trying to find stuff. Yeah. And I was like, I just really like that tree for whatever reason. It looks. But yeah, look at how like awesomely colorful everything was that day. I saw these and I thought that was really pretty. These are just mums. I could just go to Home Depot or something and buy these because this is like that fall flowers and stuff like that. Saw these flowers. I thought those were really pretty because, you know, like I said, flowers. And I thought that was a really nice view there too. If it'll focus, look at that. I really do like the fall. It has like all the fall colors and things like that. But yeah, like I said, I lucked out. Look at the beautiful blue sky there. And yeah, let's see. And also that same day, I took a lot of pictures of flowers. So, flowers. I don't know what flower these things are. And then also that day, it did start raining in the afternoon, unfortunately. So, but that same day, went to visit the college that, or university that my friend was going to. She goes to Royal Roads. And this is the Hatley Castle. That's me in front of the Hatley Castle there with my umbrella. And I think she said that this castle has been featured on like TV shows and things like that. So, and movies. Here is the back of Hatley Castle. Unfortunately, that tent there just kind of makes it not look as cool. But I think, yeah, she told me that I think she sent me this whole blurb that Hatley Castle was like, this was in Smallville, the TV show, this was Lex Luthor's mansion, and then I think in Arrow, this was Oliver Queen's mansion, and then she said that in X-Men, this was the X-Men's school building. I don't know, it does look like. But yeah, it was raining when went to visit there. But they do have like a garden next to the castle. So it's not as, see, the sky wasn't as nicely blue anymore. And yeah, but they do have beautiful gardens there too. So don't need to go to the Bouchard Gardens. But yeah, I think my main pictures, the main pretty pictures was from when went to the Bouchard Gardens. I mean, here's the Empress Hotel, I think that's what that is. And so I tried to take a picture of I think it's the Parliament building or something, but the lighting was not good that day. It's like, it was too dark. See, the day 3, Sunday, was also kind of dreary, but not as bad as Friday. I did find this really pretty flower though. This was in the Empress Hotel. So I was like, ooh, this one would make a really nice diamond painting. So yeah, pictures. All right, back to our regularly scheduled diamond painting here. So yeah, like I said, the weather worked out for at least the morning of Saturday for me. And I was able to take some really awesome pictures at Bouchard Gardens. It did start raining again in the afternoon, so that's why all the pictures when I went to the Royal Roads were not as pretty because of the rain and, you know, darkness doesn't the not as bright couldn't take the pictures as well. So yeah, I think the Bouchard Gardens would be really nice to visit again during the summer, I guess. The early late spring, early summer, when there's flowers. Yeah, when there's flowers. And it will look a lot different than when I went now, because there was a portion where you were like, it was called the Rose Gardens, and you went to the Rose Gardens and you're like, where are the roses? They were pretty much all pruned off, probably because it's not rose season. So probably not the ideal time for flowers, but it was really beautiful for the fall colors. The same thing is happening in Washington State too. The trees are turning colors, have to rake soon, and well, there is already a bunch of leaves on my lawn, but it's been raining, so it's not that easy to rake leaves when it's been raining. So yeah, lots of beautiful fall colors popping up now. And yeah, and also that day in the afternoon or in the evening, I tried out, it was called beaver tail. It was like this really flat fried dough. It was like somewhere in Victoria. It's in downtown Victoria, I guess. I don't know. What is down? I don't know. I don't know where anything is, but it was probably what was considered downtown Victoria. Probably. There was a place, I forgot what it was called, Beaver Tails. It might have just been called Beaver Tails. They were selling beaver tail, and it's like this really thin pastry that seems like, I think it was fried, and you could choose toppings over it. It was delicious. But anything fried with and then I don't know, every time I go to a new place, I always just ask the server, like, what is the most popular dish? And then if I don't really care for what they say is the most popular dish, and I was like, well, I asked them what's their favorite. And it might not be the best thing to do, because then, they might just try to sell you on the stuff that's left over. But it usually does work out enough. Because I figure if it's the most popular dish, they probably will have a lot of it. So when I was at the beaver tail place, I was like, well, so what's the most popular one? And they were like, they were like telling me that the most popular one was like Nutella banana. And I'm like, nah, I don't really feel like Nutella banana, although that does sound really good. And then they were actually telling me just the plain cinnamon sugar one. And I was like, no, I don't want the plain cinnamon sugar one. And I was like, okay, well, what's your favorite? They told me it was the strawberry cheesecake, and I was like, oh, that sounds good, let's go for the strawberry cheesecake. And it was good, so glad I asked. And then after the beaver tail place, it was starting to get kind of cold, so I was pretty much just bundled up the whole time I was there. But we went on a ghost tour, because apparently Victoria is very haunted, and plus it's October. Why not do a ghost tour, right? So the tour guide person was actually pretty entertaining. The only thing is I was a little disappointed in the ghost tour, because it was mainly like walking. It was a walking ghost tour, so we were walking around, and then she'd go in front of a place and then tell a story of what happened at that place. And like I said, the tour guide, she was awesome. Like she was theatrical. She made the story interesting, and she explained it very, very well. The only thing is, you know, it was evening because I was doing the ghost. We were doing the ghost tour at like 8, and I was like, "Aren't we gonna go inside?" In my brain, I was like, "What? We're just standing outside of the place. We're not going inside," because there was like a whole bunch of alleys in Victoria where she's like, well, in this alley, this thing happened, and in this building used to be this, and then in this bridge, this happened, and I was like, okay, but we're just outside of it. I don't know, for whatever reason, I thought we would go in and then be freaked out or something because it was, but maybe that's a good thing. So then I was not like freaked out and couldn't sleep when I got home kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, I thought we were entering the place. It's not just standing outside. But like I said, the tour person was really good at the storytelling. So I will give that a thumbs up. And I guess it was good for what it was, because otherwise all we were doing was walking around the tour and she was telling us stories. Oh, okay, the plastic seems to still be on this. Yep, the plastic broke. Didn't completely come off when I was trying to do it. So yeah. I was expecting a little bit more on a ghost tour, but like I said, it was entertaining, and apparently Victoria is haunted. Either that or just the buildings in there are older, so any older buildings probably make weird sounds. But yeah, a lot like I said, like like they were like at this alley, and then we're there, and there's like a gate in front of the alley, and apparently it's closed during the evening, so you could go visit during the day. Maybe the next time I go visit, I'll go visit the scary alleys or something. But what I didn't realize prior to going to Victoria, for whatever reason, you know, you don't look. You're like, I go to Victoria. And I thought for whatever reason Victoria in of itself was an island, and it is, but it's on an island, but it's not the only place on the island. And apparently, I think it's supposed to, yeah, I think it's called Vancouver Island. It's actually a pretty decently sized island. So I could totally spend more time there going off to who knows what part of the island. So there is probably more stuff to look at. And what I also didn't realize is that the other ferry that comes from Vancouver is actually pretty far away from the Port Angeles ferry. The Port Angeles ferry actually goes in practically where Victoria is, like, while the Vancouver one, the one that goes from Vancouver, is actually pretty far. Well, not really far, but much farther away. Because I had gone to Victoria in the past. Oh, is the plastic still on this one? I had gone to Victoria in the past with my parents when I was like young. I don't even remember it. And I also had gone to Victoria as a stopover from when I did an Alaskan cruise, and that one was more recent, because when was that? I think that was 2018 that I did Alaskan cruise. And we did stop over at Victoria, but it was a short period of time that Like, I was like, ooh, we should go to Bouchard Gardens, but it was, the stopover was so short, and apparently, yeah, and you might not realize, but Bouchard Gardens is actually pretty, well, it's not that far. It's like 15 or 20 minutes away from where the cruise ship ends up. So yeah, we didn't go to Bouchard Gardens during the time I went on the Alaskan cruise. So this was the first time I've been there in a very long time. So I'm just happy the weather cooperated with me on that day. I mean, I was prepared. I was like, okay, I have my rain stuff. I went there with my hiking boots because I knew at least my hiking boots were waterproof. And I was like, okay, my umbrella, my raincoat. I actually went and bought an umbrella because, I don't know, like, sure, I've been in the Seattle area for a long time, but I never really used an umbrella. Like, it might rain a lot, but usually it was just like a little bit of rain, so you would just use a hood kind of thing. But I did bring an umbrella for I did buy an umbrella for this trip because I was like, well, maybe I should have an umbrella. I did take it out for a little bit, but mostly my hood was enough. But yeah, oops, had a nice time there. Had a nice time. It was nice to see my friend again. And I got to visit Canada. I mean, the last time I went to Canada was in 2020 though, so it hasn't been that long, but most of the times that I was visiting Canada was mainly just to get to Vancouver Airport, so it was never really a trip, because the Vancouver Airport does have a direct flight to the Philippines, to at least, yeah. Seattle does not, at least as far as I know. It might have changed, but there is no real there's no direct flight into Seattle Airport. So going to Vancouver was actually easier, unless you wanted to fly with multiple connecting flights kind of thing. And then usually that would require flying in more than one airline, and I just didn't want to deal with the more than one airline kind of thing when flying, so it was easier just to drive to Vancouver. At least in my perspective. I bet other people have just done the Seattle route. I should ask other. But yeah, to me it just sounded easier just to fly from Vancouver. All right, I think this video, I don't know what else to talk about, and this video has gone on long enough. I think I did stop the video. Should I just finish this? I should just finish this. I can probably finish this. Actually, no, there's still a good chunk of this left. So perhaps I'll just end it here. So I'll just end it here. I don't really know what else to talk about, and I figure I could use other stuff I want to talk about in my kitting up video, which I have to record. Or I could just keep going, because I usually kind of want to finish a whole thing, before I sign off on the video. Yeah, no, this will still take a while. So this might be like this might be still another 45 minutes. So I think I'll end here for now. Here, you look out for the finish of this. I'm gonna stop. I'll look out for the finish of this cupcake at some point when there is an unboxing. And I'll talk to you another time. So thank you very much for watching and happy diamond painting. Bye!